Inside Jefferson Football, your weekly look at all things Jaguar football related. I'm Josh Powers, glad to be back for another season of Inside Jefferson Football. Hard to believe it's our fifth already of the program. Do want to get a housekeeping note out of the way. If you're looking for Inside Kennedy Football, no Inside Kennedy Football this weekend or this week leading up to the game. On Thursday, we had a scheduling conflict with Kennedy's, one of their big fundraiser events they hold every year, and definitely that takes priority over Inside Kennedy Football. But we do have Inside Jefferson Football. It's our preseason edition and a lot to cover on the show, including a pair of talks with head coach Tim Carlson. We've got former Jaguar Brian Saff in the Where Are They Now segment, and we'll be speaking to a couple of the current Jaguar players, including one of the captains in the player segment. But first, as always, the head coach. Fifth year already of doing this, and how was your summer? How does the team look going into another season?
You know what, the summer is great. It was busy. I'm happy with our kids. They put in a lot of time this summer. You know, things have changed over the years. We get 11 contact days, so we practice 11 times throughout the summer, but you know, we can meet and captains send out the captains with some drills for them to do and things like that. And we have passing. We have a passing league in Edina. We go against really good competition. Edina, Maple Grove, Shakopee, Armstrong are all up there, so that's great competition for us. We played in the Vikings 7-on-7 tournament early summer and made it to the semifinals there, and you know, that was just a great experience being able to play in their new complex out in Egan. That was a lot of fun, and you know, just a lot of stuff going on. We helped the Wounded Warrior Project this summer in their Minnesota Soldier Ride in St. Paul. We were a water stop for them one day during the week. So it's been a busy summer. It's been kind of hectic, but the kids have worked hard, and you know, we're ready to get rolling here.
You had some scrimmages recently too. Yeah. Talk about a little bit about how those went.
Yeah, Saturday morning we had a four-way scrimmage. We were with St. Paul Central, Hastings, and Sartell. And coming out of that, this never goes as well as the head coach, you know, always wants. We tend to find little things that we need to get better, and that's okay. We're not peaking yet, but overall we were pretty happy with, you know, our biggest thing the last couple of years has been stuffing the run. We've needed to get better at that, and we did a really good job Saturday between the tackles, stuffing the run. We have a little bit bigger up front, a little bit more experience there defensively. We still have some things we can fix, but we're excited about our defense offensively. You know, we've kind of balanced things out the last year or so. Instead of being so pass heavy, now we're running the ball with not only Rashawn but Roosevelt Cage, his younger brother, Isaiah, who can run it, and so on, but still be able to throw the ball and have some pretty athletic targets for him to throw it to.
Schedule-wise, we'll talk about Orono, by the way, your Week 1 opponent in our last segment. It's after this first game, you're on the road on Friday. You get 5 of the last 7 at Bloomington Stadium, so that's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's always that odd year where we are the away team against Kennedy. So a lot of shorter bus rides, which we're excited about. A lot of good opponents coming in. You know, we go Chanhassen Week 2, and they're always tough, well-run program. Mike Bailey does a great job with them and their growing program. So that'll be tough Week 2. And then, you know, we have Armstrong come in, we have Benilde come in. So there's a lot of games we're excited to have at home because of the tough opponents, and we always have great crowds. You know, we still get the great crowds out there, and it's a community event. You know, we just had our kickoff the other night with the band and the cheerleaders and the flags going and the twirlers, and you know, it's a great way to kick off the season. But what's neat about Jefferson football is it's a community event every Friday night, and so again, I'm just excited to get going.
Coming off of last year 1-7, but you mentioned you get some key returners back. You mentioned a few of them on offense. Let's go over to that defensive side of the ball. Some guys coming back from last year's team that are really going to help this year's squad. Talk about that.
Yeah, it'll start with one of our captains, Caden Osmondson, who switched halfway through the year, went from DN to linebacker, and Caden's playing linebacker right now. In front, that's where we'll have Zach Snur, who you meet, plays nose guard, and we kind of rotate he and Roosevelt Cage, sophomore. Rosie looks nothing like Zach in any way, and they play completely different, which is kind of why we really like that rotation at nose guard. And then you have Nick Martindale at one end. Nick's worked hard in the offseason and was very impressive Saturday at our scrimmages. And then Pierce Opong Jr. on the other end. And Pierce is just a natural athlete. Pierce misses a lot of football during the summer because he plays on a summer soccer team. That's what a good athlete he is. And so those guys up front, we're still looking linebacker-wise, outside linebacker-wise. We're going some guys, different guys still right now. Some injuries have set us back there. But Quentin Morris, who you'll meet, will do a little outside backer. Secondary, you have Justin Seal, who started the second half of the season at a corner. Elliot Sambugaro, another senior at another corner. And then we have Manny Montgomery and Matt Thompson kind of rotating at the free safety. So a lot of good athletes, a lot of seniors. So they've been kind of through it and are hungry. And so hopefully we'll have a better defensive effort this year. And defense wins games for you, that's for sure.
Absolutely, and talk quickly about the offense, Coach. A lot of teams this time of year are saying who's going to be our quarterback, where we don't have a lot of experience, we're uncertain. That's not the case for you guys.
Not at all, and Isaiah does a great job of leading things through the summer. I want to give a lot of credit to Nolan Rasmussen, who's just really pressed Isaiah in that quarterback stuff. If Nolan's in the game, I don't even think twice about it because he could step in and win games for us. But we're also now repping him at receiver because he's worked hard. He's a great kid, and he'll catch some balls for us now this year. But yeah, don't worry about Isaiah. He can always get better, but we're not worried about him. And again, we have some guys on the outside, Quentin and Caden at tight end. Pierce Opong will also be some tight end. You have, again, Matt Thompson, Manny Montgomery out at receivers, Newton Amagambi, who's played a lot last year for us, started for us. So we have a lot of guys coming back, a lot of weapons. We just have to do things right and, turnovers, win that turnover battle. And that'll be a big thing for us this fall.
We'll get started on Friday, Coach. We'll talk about your Week 1 opponent. They made it all the way to the section championship last year in Orono, and it's on the road. We'll do that in the final segment.
Sounds good.
All right, coming up next on Inside Jefferson Football, it's the players segment. We'll talk to a couple of the current Jaguars. Stick around.
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. That single ember can ignite and destroy your home or even your community. You can't control where that ember will land, only what happens when it does. Get Fire Adapted now at fireadapted.org.
Back to Inside Jefferson Football, our preseason edition here in week number 5. The Jaguars travel to Orono on the road. It's a Friday night game. Most high school games on Thursday, but Jefferson gets an extra day to prepare. On Friday, we'll first see the Jaguars at home in week 2 the following Friday. Well, it's player segment time, and the first two guys to step in to the player segment this year, Zach Snur, Quentin Morris. Thanks a lot, guys, for jumping on the program. Why don't you guys each talk about your role on the team? I'll start with you, Quentin, first, because you're one of 3 captains this year. Talk about what went into you receiving one of those captain spots.
Well, just being a captain and a returner for the offense with a few seniors last year. Obviously, having the experience, being able to help guys out, and we have a lot of talent coming in from sophomores, well, now juniors, which it's pretty easy with all their talent and just helping them with little things.
Zach, talk about what your role is going to be on the team this year. Coach mentioned possibly on the defensive side, maybe even at nose guard. What does that look like for you so far? I know it's early.
Yeah, definitely. I've basically been O-line my whole life, so the switch is a little different, but I'm liking the change and just hoping to do the best I can.
Have you played a lot of defense growing up when you?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
I guess BAA always, go both ways or play a little bit on the defense, but always been a lineman my whole life. So.
What was the conversation like when you were asked to switch over to that other side of the ball?
I said, let's do it.
All right.
Give it a try. Why not, right?
I like that attitude. Quentin, talk about some of the other things you do at Jefferson because you play one of the spring sports.
Yeah, I'm in baseball, which this last year was my first year on varsity, we had a decent season. And then obviously in the winter we do a lot of weight room stuff, so weight training and trying to get better in the off season for football.
The ending to that, not to bring up a bad point, but that ending to that Kennedy game was a little bit tough. Is that something that you want to keep in the back of your mind when you go to onto the football field against them in a few weeks?
I mean, yeah, I'd always kind of be back there, but hoping to get him back in football, which will be a good thing.
Defensively, Zach, you guys return some talent from last year, and it must be helpful to play with a big guy like Caden Oddsonson on that defensive line, right?
Yeah. Well, it's always nice to have people that always know what they're doing. You can rely on them, and they're always going to do their job, and you just got to focus on doing your job. You don't have to focus on anyone else. So it's just nice to always have those big players like that. Nick, Pierce, they all know what they're going to be doing. We're just going to take care of business.
And for you, Quentin, on the offensive side of the ball, at receiver, talk about some of the guys, because you've got some talent back, including yourself, that are going to be some weapons for your returning quarterback.
Yeah, well, Isaiah at the returning as a second-year starter at quarterback, that'll definitely be helpful. We got me, Newton, Manny, and Matt will be kind of the receivers, I'm guessing, this year. And then at tight end, Caden or Pierce, maybe a little bit CJ, BJ, and yeah.
What are some of the reasons why Jefferson every year seems to crank out at least a couple great receiving options that are up there among the best in the conference, or the old conference, or now the district? Why do you think that is?
I think we've had some great coaches. Like last year we had Coach Johnson, or Jimmer we called him, and unfortunately he had a new job. But we have Coach Knutson this year, it's been great getting to know him, and he seems to be a great coach. And just working in the off season, we seem to get along together and a good bond as all of our receivers.
What are some of the differences that you've had so far, Zach, being a senior now this year, that has been a little bit different from past years?
It's just, kind of weird being in the driver's seat, I guess. We've never really been the whole leaders of the team. It's kind of our team now. We got to look over all the young guys, make sure they're doing what they need to do. So it's just, it's all different. We've always had people over us telling us what to do or making sure we're doing it right. Now it's on us.
What are some of the goals, if you've set any, that you guys want to achieve this year on the field? Start with you, Quentin.
Well, last year a little disappointed on the record side, but definitely a fun season. Hoping to get definitely some more wins in. Get a couple of conference wins, some playoffs, hopefully make state and make a good run there.
All right, well, now time, guys. This is our debut of our initials game. It's back for a second season, very popular in season number 1. So we're going to give you initials of our subject. It can be a person, it can be a place or a thing, but it's related to has something to do with the city of Bloomington. Then I'll list a series of clues. Whenever you guys think either one of you know the answer, buzz in by saying your name, and if you get it right, you win this week's game of initials. So our initials this week are MP. Clue number 1. He was born February 2nd, 1977. So well before your guys' time. He attended St. Cloud State and played hockey. Clue number 3, he was drafted in the third...
Zach, Mark Parrish.
Mark Parrish, Zach, you are correct. He was drafted in the 3rd round and played over 700 games in the NHL, including, of course, for the Minnesota Wild. So there you go, Zach, you're the initial winner of our initials game in Season 2, guys. Thanks a lot for joining us. Best of luck on Friday night, all right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, coming up next, the Where Are They Now segment. We'll talk to 2006 graduate Brian Sapp coming up.
Okay, let's set the facts straight. Almost a quarter of car crashes involve cell phones. When you text and drive, you look away at least 5 seconds. At 55 miles per hour, that's the length of a football field. Time out. It's illegal in 39 states to text and drive, but you're in danger everywhere when you don't focus. So keep your eyes on the road and arrive alive. No text, no wrecks. So don't text and drive.
On Inside Jefferson football, the Jaguars and Orono kicking off the season, a road game for the Jaguars on Friday night. Our Where Are They Now segment features 2006 graduate Brian Saff. Brian, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Josh.
You're making me feel old here because we're going to get to some clips of you, and that was when I was still announcing for BEC-TV back in the day. We'll get to those in just a minute. But first, after Jefferson, you went on and played football at the collegiate level. Talk about that.
I did. I went on and played at UW Scout in Menominee, Wisconsin. Played 4 years there, and then I actually stayed on another season and coached. So it was great to get a taste of the coaching as well at the college level. But great memories, great time.
How do you think playing for Jefferson? Coach Carlson was on the staff at the time, and some of the Jaguars that have still been around even to this day help prepare you for that collegiate experience.
Well, Coach C was invaluable. I mean, he was a great coach. Coach Leverance, John Leverance, also played linebacker, and so I learned a lot from both those guys. And then Zach Johnston, who was a former Jaguar as well, and he actually played at UW Lacrosse, and so kind of got me into the idea of going into the WIAC and understanding that, hey, maybe I could play college football.
After college was over, what have you been up to now? I know you're still living in the area here, right?
Yes, so I live in Minnetonka. Met my wife in college. She was an All-American in soccer at UW Stout. And we live in Minnetonka. We have an almost 2-year-old little boy named Noah. He's big into sports, big into everything. He's all boy, and so he'll be 2 on Christmas Eve this year. So things are going really well.
Future maybe Minnetonka Skippers football player down the line?
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, I want to get back to the high school days because we had a lot to cover. You played in 2005, 2004, 2005 season at the varsity level. What were some of the experiences you remember most fondly looking back in the day?
Well, talking with Coach C before this, we brought up the jamboree, and so the biggest memory I have from high school football was getting the opportunity to play at Lincoln Stadium with those kids that I grew up playing with at the jamboree. And just, being under the Friday night lights at Lincoln Stadium was pretty special, and doing it with my best friends, that's probably what I'll remember most.
Well, we've got some clips here. This was a key game for you guys back in the 2005 season. This was a section semifinal, and you're playing Minnetonka. Now, these guys were the defending state champs, but you get them at home, and you guys end up winning the game. Now, watch some plays here from Brian. What number were you, Brian, just so everyone is out there is aware?
I was number 45.
Okay.
Played middle linebacker.
And I think you're going to make a key play here. Now, Minnetonka's in the white. They're trotting out on offense. And you guys really, not just yourself, but the entire defense had a great performance here in this game.
Yeah, I fortunately had some really great players in front of me and behind me. Kyle Anderson went on and had a shot at the NFL.
That was a nice hit by you right there. Little double fist pump celebration.
And actually, one of my best friends in college was on that Minnetonka Skipper team, so we still talk about that game a little bit.
You guys would win that game and go on. We'll take a look at another clip here, too, in just a minute, but you guys would go on and play in a section championship for Jefferson. What do you remember about that playoff run?
It was great. This was a big game because the year prior we lost to Minnetonka. They actually ended our season, so we really wanted to get them back and to do it at home and the way we did, and really shut down one of the best offenses in the state. They had a Division I running back and a big offensive line. So
there, your teammates are celebrating with you after you got a big sack right there. Looked like it was a third down play to get off the field.
Exciting times.
What other things did you do at Jefferson? I know you were kind of a multi-sport guy.
Yeah, I played baseball, and I was a captain my senior year on that team for Jim Guess, who's still
there,
head coach there, and so it's fun to follow that team as well. And then I played basketball for quite a few years, and then my senior year I played in BA and for basketball too. So again, being able to play sports with my best friends that I grew up with was something I'll never forget.
I think we'll take a look at one more play here from that memorable Jefferson win against Minnetonka back in my second year announcing for Jefferson. So again, making me feel old as this game's 13 years ago. Yeah. Were you known as this heavy of a hitter? Hard to remember back this far, but here comes a very good athlete in the running back Hopkins, and you just wrestle him right to the ground.
Yeah, like I said, this was kind of a payback game for Minnetonka, and really good team effort. Big win for Jefferson here.
What would be your advice to future Jaguars? Maybe they're on this team right now, or they're going to be in the next few years, about enjoying their time while they're in high school at Jefferson.
Enjoy every minute. I mean, looking back, all I can do is smile. I just enjoyed every minute of it, and it goes fast. Take in as much as you can. Listen to your coaches. Play fast and do your job. The simple things.
All right, Brian Sapp, glad you're still local here in the Twin Cities. Good to talk to you, and best of luck where life takes you from here.
Thank you, Josh.
All right, back for our final segment. Coach Carlson previews Orono, their opponent on Friday night. Inside Jefferson Football, just returning in a minute.
With me, imagine what you'd see if every child had a book to read. So the mission is for us to get a book to each and every child. So let's join hands, book people unite, unearth hidden passion. Come on, we'll have a good time. One book could be the funnest little thing, helps to change a life. People unite.
Read to a child today and spark a lifetime of ambition.
Back on Inside Jefferson Football, our preseason edition, Week 1 for the Jaguars kicks off on Friday night. Jefferson travels to Orono to start the 2018 season. Coach, a Orono team that you know well, an opponent from the last number of years. This year they're not in the same district as you, but a team that got hot. They were 4-4 regular season last year, got hot in the playoffs, big upset over undefeated Benilde St. Margaret, and lost in the section championship game.
Yeah, it's, you know what, I'm going to take 1 second before I get to Orono. As I'm watching those, and it's funny, we hear the same
clips with Brian.
The clips with Brian, and you hear the same thing. Guys, after, you know, every guy who comes in here, perhaps player, just enjoy those moments with your friends. But as I'm watching that, I see my oldest son is our ball boy. The quarterback for Minnetonka, my son, the ball boy, now coaches with at Minnetonka High School. And I thought, what a small world that is.
It is amazing.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. But yeah, Orono's tough. We know they're going to be tough. They're well coached. You know, we've had, I think we're 1-2 over the last 3 years against them, and this is our turn again now. But they return a very good quarterback, and he's a runner and a thrower, and I think his arm strength's improved. We watched their scrimmage from Saturday, and he's chucking it all over. But he wants to run, he wants to get outside. Their main running back is back, and he's tough, and they return a couple of guys on defense as well. So it'll be a good game. We have to be at our best, you know, control the ball, take care of the ball, and then you know, if we can get them in long down situations and take it away a few times, I think that's the way to go, and that'll be helpful. And stay away from the penalties. We can't give them any free yards because they'll take advantage of it. Yeah,
and last year they put up 49 points
Thanks, Josh.
against you guys, and they returned. You mentioned they returned their quarterback and their running back, but you guys return a lot from the defense. What are you looking for? Obviously, less points would be good, but what are some things other than the score that you're looking for defensively against such a talented team?
Yeah, we lasted 5 years already, huh, Josh? Okay. Yeah, you know, again, I think we'll do a good job of the inside. They're a zone read team. I think we'll do a good job of that inside. What we're working on this week is that outside. When he pulls it and wants to get outside, and that's on our outside linebackers and our secondary a little bit. Because I think the inside guys will do a pretty good job, but it's controlling that, keeping him in that pocket. He's not real tall, so when he throws, we want to get in it. We don't have to get a sack because he's tough to sack. But if we get in his face, get hands up, and he's got to throw off a back foot, then now the ball sails a little bit and let our secondary make some plays. So those are just a few of the things that we have to do for them not to score 49 points against us again.
That said, Coach, here's a question you're like better. You guys put up over 400 yards on
there
them
we go.
And you guys returned some players that were key in making that happen last year. Some things to continue that success against Orono.
Yeah, you know, we were balanced, and we ran the ball well, we threw it well. What we did not do as much or as well as last year, the third down We didn't convert as much on third down as we have liked. We gave up too many conversions on third down defensively. And then once we got in that red zone area, we didn't convert as much as we'd like to coming into this year. So those are some things we have to fix. But yeah, we have a lot of those guys back, and they all remember what happened last year. And anybody who's forgotten, I've been reminding what happened last year. So again, it kind of, you look at things on paper, but in the end, they're high school kids, and you never necessarily know what might happen.
Well, fun time of year, Coach, to get the season started on Friday night, and we'll see you back here next week for another edition of Inside Jefferson Football.
Talking about a win.
All right, there we go. Coach Carlson and the Jaguars against Orono Friday night, and we'll be back next week for week 2 of Inside Jefferson Football. That'll do it for our initial season opening edition of Inside Jefferson Football. For our entire crew, this is Josh Powers saying good night from our studios.